never felt so right with you. I'm gonna hold on to you, hold on. Hope you feel the same way too. I'm gonna hold on to you, hold on. I can't believe it's so true.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the lower bracket final of the DreamHack Melbourne qualifier. This is Team Aftershock and VERTEX taking one another on, and surprisingly, I guess, maybe, depending on whether you watched yesterday's game between these teams or not, Aftershock won the first map. And that is, you know, to me, like, I guess not a surprise, because we were looking at it and saying, I think we can probably expect a little bit more from Aftershock. But I kind of expected a little bit more from VERTEX as well, particularly after the fact that they started off 6-0.
Yeah, they kind of got smashed. Not gonna lie, very, very good map from Aftershock. I was impressed. Rejigging the veto a little bit. Look, VERTEX has not been a map that's been great for Aftershock. Not gonna lie, 33% win rate, but they did lose 6-16 against EGG and then beat them 16-9 when they had the rematch. So, look, they lost also 6-16 to VERTEX. So maybe on the rematch they can have a better time of things, Jordan.
Yeah, we'll see what VERTEX can do here. Certainly on that T side, they've got a bit of work to do. Ricky looks like he's in a precarious spot, and it turns out to be a pretty rough one as well. Already, VERTEX stamping their mark on the pistol round on the second map. Making sure that they know... Making sure that Aftershock rather knows that this is not a job done yet. There's still some moving and shaking that needs to be done.
Still taking their time, trying to convert this 4-on-2. Only down to these last two CTs, and one of them just gets airstriked on that retake position. Vexate all over that one, and 3 for Brace. Couple of the individuals for VERTEX are a little quieter than you would have liked on Dust 2, Jordan. It was really Valiance and Vexite who were the standouts. So let's see the rest of the VERTEX core having a bit better of a time here on Vertigo. This is a map they're very comfortable on. Aftershock doesn't have a great win rate on it, and they were able to beat them very concisely the other day, which was yesterday. Forced buy in the second round here for Aftershock. Going to try to fight for this economy control early on.
VERTEX just continuing to probe toward ramp. First couple of rounds, headed in the same direction. Not looking too bad so far. Getting a good bit of control, and Nickez unable to land a shot with that scout. Does leave VERTEX with the player advantage. Addict has a couple of other ideas. 5-7, always going to be a little bit of a dangerous prospect.
Ooh, flank from Ricky could be big. Longer that this ramp control gets drawn out. Still got those two CTs nice and close. Ricky getting closer and closer on that flank. Oh, he's just sitting in ladder.
Oh. What is Valhalla and Addict getting up to right now?
Trying to go for a bit of a boost, but caught with their pants down, Jordan. Valhalla still gets one of that out of that somehow.
Yeah, Malta is all over it though. He's quite well aware that Valhalla's going to try and make something happen, and he's got that locked down. So VERTEX looking pretty good to close out this anti-force.
How cleanly can they do it though? Dig's still alive here, playing for some exits. Wasn't the full-on force from Ricky. He's actually holding on to extra cash for the AWP fund, worth mentioning. Doesn't have any armor. Ooh, couple of exits on the cards maybe for Aftershock. Want to make this one expensive for VERTEX here.
Nade. Oh, doesn't quite go the distance, and probably wouldn't have done enough damage anyway. So, save time for Aftershock. This shouldn't be getting too concerned just yet. Still early days. Got off to a worse start than this on the first map, and we're able to bring it back quite cleanly.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it was 16 in a row, was it not? For Aftershock? It was 0-6, and then they won 16-6, so... I'm pretty sure they just won...
1-6?
Oh, was it 1-6? Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Let me tell you.
So it was 15. It was 15 in a row.
It was, no, 15 in a row, not 16 in a row. That's actually kind of insane.
Yeah.
Decent damage done by Aftershock in that last round. Not a whole lot invested in this one, though. So you wouldn't be expecting that many guns to be taken away for VERTEX. It's a chance to steady the ship. Try to get their economy built up a little bit more. Bit of an A stack in here from Aftershock, though. Could be dangerous.
Ricky has already gone down, though. So I'd say this is being negotiated pretty comfortably by Aftershock. By VERTEX, I should say. They don't seem to really have a great idea of where Hugh was, so he manages to actually get a double kill.
That was actually one of the cleanest one-ways I've ever seen him sitting up above that connector smoke. He was literally invisible.
Yeah.
USP definitely helped out as well. So look, 2 guns taken away. That's pretty good damage. Brace is pretty broke. Malta's pretty broke. VERTEX definitely not getting through those first couple of rounds scot-free. And in comes the investment now for Aftershock. Full buy up. Ricky's got the AWP nice and early on. See how they go in this first gun round.
Well, we'll see if Ricky can get anything done with that or doesn't land the shot. Really good opportunity there, but the flick just not quite on point. I think if Aftershock is going to win this map, you're probably going to have to see Ricky doing a fair bit of work. Especially on this CT side with the AWP, who was a really big proponent of the success on that first map and needs to transition that through to map 2 as well.
Yeah, I think Ricky and Valhalla were kind of like the standouts for Aftershock last map, but they're also the standouts on Vertigo against DGG the other day. VERTEX sizing up this B execute, so it's got to be Hugh to defend.
Bit of nade shuffling going on here. Hugh's not going to be forced away by those mollies, but a bit of a whiff is going to mean that he's unable to go 1 for 1, and that ultimately leaves a numbers advantage squarely on the shoulders of VERTEX. Vexite is really doing a good job of ensuring those rotations cannot even come into play. And Aftershock will be saying goodbye to their first gun round pretty quick smart.
Yeah, very clean round there from VERTEX. A lot of pressure applied by Malta in the early round, and he's often lurking the stairs, finding entries. But in that round, even though he doesn't find the entry, he draws out a lot of util. And that's a kind of underrated aspect of aggressive lurking, is sometimes when you apply the pressure, especially when a team's not confident with their protocols or not as good on a certain map, they can kind of overcommit util and soften the defense for your late round execute, which was kind of the case there. There wasn't a whole lot of CT util for Aftershock to be able to deal with that B exi from VERTEX. Good stuff from VERTEX on the hunt as well. They take the AWP out of Ricky's hands without losing any additional rifles, and now they're up 4-0 with a good economy to boot into an anti-eco. This is exactly the start that VERTEX wanted. And I would normally say that bodes well for their half going forward, but this tournament, I don't know what's going on with VERTEX, but for some reason, even when they're getting the dream starts to these halves, they're having a tough time keeping consistent through the rest of the half and continuing to keep the pressure on.
I mean, definitely looking good, but can't rest on their laurels, especially when they're a map down.
It's the decider of this series, Inferno. That was a pretty good one for VERTEX yesterday against Encore, was it not?
Yeah.
That was their pick in that series.
They did win it pretty cleanly.
Aftershocks had 2 on Inferno, one of which was a 16-10 loss in the Dallas quals to VERTEX, but that was old VERTEX. They did beat Renegades on it in April. Almost seems kind of irrelevant at this point, such a long time ago. But something worth noting. I think that was the Aftershock debut, was it not?
It might have been. I mean, it did take them a little while to actually play their first couple of games.
Yeah, that was still with Infrequent in the roster. Instead of Humongous.
I was going to
Little
say
bit of
no
damage.
issues, but yeah, you're right. A little bit of damage coming out in this round for Aftershock, and Vexite on 17 HP. Could be another easy picking for Valhalla.
Yeah, they're chipping away a couple of guns. AK save is not too bad, especially for Valhalla, who ended up going Famous light armor. He picks up a molly as well. This is going to help him get full util and a kit if he wants one. So the AK save definitely not terrible in this position at all. Vertex up 5-0 now, though. A good start to this half, good start to the game. Getting the confidence flowing. You're starting to see a couple of the members who were a little quieter, not really contributing as much, getting fired up early on here on Vertigo. What you want to be seeing.
Yeah. I mean, like, it looks like a fantastic start for Vertex, but I'm not really prepared to write home about it just yet because of what we saw on Dust 2. So I've still got that in the back of my mind.
Yep.
Probably a different scenario given the fact that Vertex, it is their map choice, but, you know, it can happen on the Dust 2, it can happen here. And Aftershock, as of yet, haven't really shown us what they've got on this map, so waiting to see a little more from them on this CT side.
They are running that double AWP this time. Hugh AWPing the B line, and they're playing a bit more retakey on middle and B, leaning 3 towards A with a secondary AWP on Ricky over on that A ramp line. In the meanwhile, Vertex working this ramp control, or stairs control rather. Hugh doesn't hit that initial shot, but Ricky wins the AWP duel against PZ over at ramp side.
And this could be the beginning of a little bit of change that Aftershock are looking for. Incen goes down. Hugh waiting patiently. The flash is not going to be enough to keep Malta alive. Nicely timed shot from Hugh. And this is exactly the kind of round that Aftershock has been looking for. A very safe, secure round with all 5 guns alive. A nice one to
Very
kick
clean.
off their campaign here on Vertigo.
Yeah, good protocols as well. Niquez just anti-flash. Ready to swing out. Picks up 2 easily. He's going to get himself rolling early on. Be good to see. Someone that I feel like maybe not given any kind of a spotlight role on this Aftershock roster, but even when he was just kind of playing on those random mixed teams, playing on camo and stuff in ANZ Champs, there were points in that tournament when he wasn't playing for a good team, but he was one of the highest rated players in the competition.
There's Ricky once again, finding those inroads. He's got the backup of Niquez, but he doesn't really need it. Very positive signs for Aftershock. If this double AWP setup is going to work as well as it seems to be right now, that's going to make life very difficult for Vertex. I'll try and take a bit more control of the ramp, but that's going to cost PZ a lot of HP. Addict has found his man as well, and this could be 2 back-to-back rounds with 5 players alive for Aftershock, and that would really just set that hype train rolling.
Yeah, they're playing with confidence. Looking dangerous. All of these duels being taken in the mid-round. The rifle is just multi-fragging, making it look easy. 2 in a row. Clean as he'd like from Aftershock, and Vertex now, economy on the ropes. Got to take a single save. Wouldn't mind a hero AK on Vex side in a round like this. After time, you'd probably back him to be securing you the rest of the round along with it, most likely. And there you go. I think it'd be almost criminal not to hero AK Vex side in this position in terms of the economy.
I'm not sure how confident I feel about this one with no supporting util at all.
Yeah.
No armor on anyone else to sort of recycle that AK if they're able to find something with it. Valhalla's gone down the ladder. I don't know that Valiant's actually heard him there. 1 for 1 so far, but very quickly starts to turn into a little bit more than that. Niquez is having a pretty good time. And
Yeah,
there's
he's
another one.
warmed up, isn't he?
Yep.
Good to see.
All of Aftershock sort of feels like they're getting warmed up.
Yeah, their economy is starting to skyrocket as well, Jordan. Like, cash is getting out of control. They got gun rounds on gun rounds on gun rounds for the next little bit. And Vertex, This is just another case of it. I don't know what's going on, Jordan, but they rail every team they verse, Encore included, in the opening rounds of the half. And then the loss bonus kicks in for the other team. They get money, they get gun rounds together, and they start just winning. And it's not even close rounds some of the time. It's like literally Vertex goes from absolutely dominating the other team to like losing rounds without even getting a pick.
It's a funny game sometimes. I think this will be a big... It's not necessarily a swing round in the sense that Aftershock won't get reset off of this, but I think it is going to be a pretty important round for kind of setting the stage for the rest of this half. If Vertex can show us that they can grind out a round like this and sort of stem the flow, then that's obviously going to be quite a different story to if they just get absolutely obliterated again in this round. And it kind of looks like it'll be the latter with Valhalla getting behind PZ. A rude awakening for PZ, who turns around, and you can freeze frame that with a record scratch, I reckon.
Yeah, Hughes alone on this B site. Has numbers now. Probably just needs to play for a pick and play retake. Addict's backing him up with a bit of a supportive flash. Vertex looking for a pick, looking to just 4v5 into the small site.
Well, Addict and Hugh ready to receive. Orb's going to get put on the line. He did actually spot brace out there, but fired a little bit too late. Vertex are still trying to work their way into the site, and the bomb plant now is just starting to go down. So Aftershock, they're looking to play for the retake more than anything else. That said, giving a lot of control of the site over to Vertex. A lot of presence starting to be built. Addict, though, steps up and finds a double. Inevitably is traded down by Malta, but the numbers do persist for Aftershock. They've got the wrap coming in behind as well. And Ricky with the AWP, the insurance fund if necessary. It'll probably come down to the riflers, though. Nikes and Valhalla getting it done. And that is another one for Aftershock. A very clean one as well, considering it was a full buy out from Vertex. It's going to start to increase that money even further. Aftershock looking very good.
Yeah, I'm really in agreement with you. Like, I felt like that was kind of a much needed round for Vertex in terms of the confidence, but Aftershock just continues to string these gun rounds together. Vertex, they get the plant down, which is going to allow them to have a little bit more cash to spend on this half buy, but this is 4 in a row for Aftershock, and if last map's anything to go by, once these guys get on a roll, they're going to be very difficult to stop.
Just the pistols coming out this round for Vertex, and Addict is looking to make an impact early. This could be a bit of an awkward decision if he gets it wrong, but double kill, you'll take that. That's more than good enough, particularly when Ricky's going to be available to trade him down. A 3-for-1 overall. Decent stuff from Aftershock. They got their timings right.
Ripping in some damage here and there. Off angle from Valhalla gets done though. 5 in a row for Aftershock. And they even up the score. Buy back in from Vertex now, who have maximized their loss bonus, but haven't really done enough of a job of chipping in the damage to the CT economy. Aftershock, they would have to lose 3 gun rounds in a row to even start to look a little bit more broken. That's assuming that they aren't getting any saves in. They might have just secured their economy control for the rest of this half. Vertex need to find an answer for these rounds. They've had that mid-pressure come in from Valhalla. He's been quick flanking them through ladder. That's definitely going to give them something to be nervous about. Addictus and Nikes are both swinging with confidence into ramp side, and that's some great HE damage. Great chip damage onto Brace. Malta, you can see him. He is sick of getting flanked from ladder.
Oh. Bit of an awkward smoke out there for Addict, but still not a bad start to the round for the CT side.
Valhalla's pushes, info pushes have just been worth their weight in gold. He's bottom stairs this time. He's been bottom ladder. Like, he is actually doing a lot of the heavy lifting for Aftershock because it's allowing them to just be confident sitting in towards this 3A setup. There's been no pressure on stairs, not even Malta lurking over there.
And Brace cannot put one foot in front of the other without someone throwing a piece of util in his face.
He's playing Minesweeper, dude.
He's eaten 3 grenades and a Molotov. He's alive on 7 HP, and maybe that's enough. Vexite And then PZ as well chiming in. It was looking very awkward indeed for VERTEX, but a bit of individual brilliance. And we're right back into the swing of things. Almost wouldn't be surprised to see Val and Hugh give this one a bit of a crack. Particularly if Hugh's going to be able to find a cheeky pick like that. Just because they've got so much money and Val is on the flank behind at the moment. So, still a world where even if they don't win the round, they can do a lot of economic damage and put VERTEX back down a peg.
No plant in yet. Finally going down. You waiting for those smokes to clear, seeing if you can get an angle. Malta has found that player on the flank though. That's going to give VERTEX a little bit more comfort. That is a quintessential new VERTEX round though. Backside, double entry. PZ holding the line, anticipating the peek from the other player off of Vexite's contact. And some great utility to close it out. Like I said though, very, very clean economy control here for Aftershock. So they're going to have plenty of bites in the back pocket. If they keep continuing to lean on this double AWP setup, that's definitely going to be a little bit more costly for their money, but it is going to be back to 4 rifle. Ricky, the only one with an AWP. And Aftershock taking an attack timeout after even just one gun round is won by VERTEX.
Yeah, I think Aftershock can probably look at that round and say, we got a little bit unlucky, right? VERTEX, they pull out a little bit of individual brilliance there from Vexite. A lot of low HP players from VERTEX getting through that round as well. It could have been a very, very close one, but ultimately, you know, quite clean for VERTEX in the end. Definitely not the end of the world for Aftershock. They have plenty of cash in the back pocket. They can answer in kind. Then we could still have a pretty competitive first half here. I'm a little bit interested to see what we're going to get from Aftershock on their T side as well. Given this was a map that they did struggle on yesterday and it was VERTEX's choice.
In their game against DGG, they went 1, 2, 3, 4. They went 9-1 on T side to close out the game.
Okay.
So definitely had a game plan against DGG yesterday on T side. Winning 9 out of 10 rounds is not easy to streak along with the T side that well. Initial contact in this round, non-factor. Both teams with a pacifist approach to ramp. Again, Valhalla on one of these deep info lines. Full control and info of stairs. Initial orbital doesn't go the way of either player, and Ricky getting a lot of information as VERTEX are taking this ramp control, but he's confident he wants to take another peek in there.
He's got Nikez as well, but Nikez is fully flashed. And Ricky can't really do too much about it. He was already backtracking into the site. Bit of mistiming maybe there from Aftershock. He's going to bring those CT scrambling across from the B bomb site. They've completely left it open. And Ricky is finding no shortage of chances to fire shots off, but unfortunately has been unable to connect any in this round. And for VERTEX, it is going perfectly. It is going swimmingly. And Hugh gets deleted through a smoke as well to make matters worse. I mean, last round, you might have been able to make the argument that it was close, but that one, far from it.
Yeah. And look, I was kind of painting it as a far-fetched conclusion to say VERTEX could break the CT money if they win 3 gun rounds in a row, the way that the game was going. But here we are on the 3rd gun round, Jordan. Money's starting to dwindle for Hugh and Ricky. Addict's got no cash. This could be a bit of a reset round for VERTEX to try to put themselves in an easier position to win that round number 14.
Well, must win for Aftershock if they want to be walking away with the advantage at the end of the half. Race is getting up close and personal with Nikez. Timing has not quite favoured him. Nikez able to pull the M4 out just quickly enough.
It's a 2-man advantage. Need to be converting these. VERTEX going back to the drawing board, back towards stairs side. No deep stairs control this time, but a 2-man setup. You playing the pillar. Valhalla backing them up with a full belter util.
Saw Malta pull off a bit of magic in a round yesterday with a pistol from a position similar to this. Gonna need something like that to win the round again. 2 players to defend. Val has been probably spotted out there and should be cleared. The flashes were decent, but Hugh was remaining unspotted, and he's doing a good job of surviving. Gets a gush onto Val. It'll make it easy for Addict to find the trade. Only PZ left now with 30 seconds to play. And 3 players to find. Does have the bomb in possession, but he's not really finding any openings. Addict eventually spots him out and calls for the swing, and Nickers will finish it off for Aftershock. 6-7. They keep it pretty close.
Gonna buy Aftershock a little bit more economic room as well. A couple of the players still looking pretty broke, so again, a must win unless they're going to be having some economic difficulties in that last round. They lose this one, can probably only put 3 guns together. If that, I mean, 1,400 loss bonus, Ricky would be like 3k, so kind of a must win to have a convincing looking gun round for Aftershock and try to play for that 8-7. Be a bit of a reset round for Vertex, definitely within grasp. Been losing some of these duels toward ramp side. I think those have kind of been the defining factors. When I mean, it sounds obvious, but when Vertex is having success on scaffold and ramp side, they're winning these rounds fairly easily. But when Aftershock are finding those opening duels towards ramp, finding that ramp control, things have looked a little bit more difficult for Vertex. Walter's on that aggressive lurk again this time, looking for an opening duel towards stairs side.
He hasn't spotted much just yet. But likely going to get an opportunity in just a minute. Vexside is creeping up slowly. Addict is going to spot him through the crack in the sandbags, and Vexside is done. A couple more players headed in his direction, though, and Nikes immediately does fall. Trade occurs. Vertex will be happy with that, but with PZ on 6 HP, it's still quite a tenuous thing as they start to work their way up a ramp. Addict there to defend on Scaff side. We'll get the better of Brace. 3 on 4. Numbers are definitely there for Aftershock, but slowly but surely, Vertex is finding their ways into this bomb site. They're going to have to pick the pace up, though, Pilski. Time is starting to become a factor, and with only 20 seconds left, it comes down to Hugh to defend solo. He gets the first freebie onto Malta. Can't deny the bomb plant. This could be a really big clutch to pull off, though.
He's got a smoke. Can definitely try to smoke off that bomb and get on the defuse. Valiant's with the single flash to maybe set up PZ on a line. Hugh trying to not make any sound. He hops off, and a bit of awkward movement keeps him alive. PZ doesn't hit the shot.
Only he knew how low PZ was as well. Smoke's going to go deep. It's not directly on the bomb. He's just going to have to touch the defuse and hold that line. It's taking him a little while to find the bomb. And surely now he's run out of time. Not going to get this one done. Maybe he can take a player or 2 with him. Valiance ensures that is not a possibility. PZ does drop to the bomb, of course, but ultimately, Aftershock will not win the round, and Vertex go up to 8.
That's a big round to win. 1,400 in the bank account for Valhalla. 3k for Ricky. Bunch of them are going to have a tough time putting a convincing-looking buy together. Nick has no util. So this is a potentially easier round for Vertex to convert against a bit of a lackluster buy. Put them in the pole position up 9-6 on their attacking side. Because Aftershock, like I said, their T side yesterday against BGG wasn't too bad.
Guess we will have to wait and see. And I feel as though every single round kind of counts at this point. Feels like it's a bit of a back and forth game. Wouldn't want to be leaving anything on the table.
Vertex are taking their time moving through the map. 1 for 1 in that initial exchange. Not too bad for Aftershock trading down the numbers because they've got a bit of a gun disadvantage. Didn't recover that A1S though that they lost, I think.
Yeah, still a bit of util here for Hugh to play with, but he's over toward mid at the jump up. Big flank coming through from Valhalla once again. Addict's timing might be critical. If he's able to peek over the top and get himself a freebie, that is going to be a difference maker. Ricky made the mistake of trying to pick up the gun and wasn't able to get it out in time. Malta dispatches of him, but Hugh, what a flick, what a shot with the Deagle. Behind that smoke, he's going to try to deal with Malta, can't do it, but Val, again, coming up the ramp. Vertex surely wise to his tricks by now. They're not going to fall prey to it. They haven't tried to plant the bomb, and Malta is all over it. So, the adaptation has been made by Vertex, and it proves to be quite successful. 9 on the board. Not a bad first half, but is it enough? That's the big question.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, 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 out.
I keep your picture in my room, 'cause it gets me in the mood. You're still living free in my head. You got me so confused. My mind is full of you. Still want you in my room. Don't wanna get rid of you. On my mind, but now I'm not too late. You got me so confused. My head is full of you. You keep slipping away. I learned the hard way. But something's gotta stay. Don't let it go to waste. Do you remember all of the long nights, warm in my bed, nightfall to sunrise? That's what you said. You held me so tight each time again. I keep your picture in my room. Don't wanna get rid of you. On my mind when I am up too late. You got me so confused. My head is full of you. Done with silly games. Don't leave me hanging on. Keep me hanging. Said it once, I'll say it again. Your love is what I want. Do you remember all of the long nights, warm in my bed, nightfall to sunrise? That's what you said, and you had me so tight each time again. In my room, I'll keep you safe. Don't stay away too long, pulling back and forth. Still got me paralyzed. Got what you came for. One thing that I've kept. I keep your picture in my room, 'cause it gets me in the mood. You're still living free in my head. You got me so confused. My mind is full of you. Still want you in my room. Don't wanna get rid of you. On my mind when I am up too late.
G'day everyone, welcome back. It's the second half between Vertex and Aftershock of the second map. This is the lower bracket final, so it is an elimination match. That is something to consider. Vertex currently down 1-0 as far as the overall series scoreline is concerned, but not looking too shabby on their map choice. See what Aftershock can do here on the T side. If they can win the pistol, I think they're still in with a crack.
Yeah, so much noise and pressure being applied towards ramp and scaffold side, trying to draw some rotations away from Vertex, but you can see a little bit of nuance in this round. Couple of T's on the other side of the map. Regress from PZ, wanting to find out what's going on, seeing if he can find any of the T's. Easy shot onto Valhalla. Nikes must trade, be able to keep that info game.
Ooh.
Good for Aftershock. Ricky trying to find that opening towards B.
Just gonna keep Valiance at bay for the moment, but that is a crisp shot. No trade to come through this time. Aftershock kind of relying on Nikes to pull off a bit of magic here, but he was not expecting Vexite on that angle. So it is slowly starting to fall away from Aftershock's control. Addict and Hugh now will try to clutch it out by working their way into the B bomb site. Good damage done onto Valiance, and that'll be finished off by Hugh. Addict immediately loses his life, though, and Hugh is soon to follow as well.
Good start for Vertex. Keeping along that momentum towards the end of their own T side. Aftershock, no bomb plant means that they're going to have a tougher time putting a force together. Looking at the T side stats from yesterday, had a couple of nice entries from Nikias and Valhalla, but for the most part, no one really carrying the team on Aftershock's T side against TGG yesterday. It's mostly an effort done by committee.
Vex side, he's made a meal of it. Addict will take a pretty welcome frag with the Glock and an upgrade for Valhalla. Obviously a lot of damage done though to Aftershock, and so they're going to be probably feeling a little bit worse for wear. MP9, PZ would love to get involved in this pretty early on in the piece. Gonna do just that. No armor on any of these guys, and a lot of them tagged up already. 3 kills for the MP9. Great news for Vertex.
Yeah, he gets a A1S as well at the end of the round, so the only gun lost is an MP9 there for Vertex. Very nice anti-eco. Like you said, PZ gets a handful of MP9 kills, which goes straight into his AWP fund. Immediately buys that heading into this round, despite the fact that it's, you know, somewhat of a bonus. Vexite going to invest a fair bit in this one. First gun round here for Aftershock. See what they're going to give us here. No AWP for them, so there is a real possibility that PZ can find some early angles or some early picks without having to fear some of those common T-side AWP lines.
Interesting approach from Aftershock. A little reserved at the moment. He is feeling confident, isn't he?
I mean, yeah, he knows that this is a very early AWP timing, so he can kind of duel a lot of these angles. Flash coverage looking good from the T's. They push him off the line. He's going to try and flash himself back on. This is supreme confidence from PZ, but unfortunately doesn't connect the shot, loses a lot of HP, and now he's going to kind of be pinned back a little bit more. As Aftershock starting to progress, starting to take some ramp control.
Yeah, PC doesn't have that much backup over on A at the moment, so he's lucky that Aftershock didn't look to try to pick the pace up there. Rotation has now come through from the CT side, though.
Yeah. Definitely a bit more of a lean towards B and middle from the CT setup, you're right. Part of that, I imagine, is the pressure that Valhalla and Addict put on early in the round. It was a 3-1-1. Now the T's regrouping over towards A. 25 seconds as this AXX comes in.
Vexite's just going to keep his head ducked down. No util to push him out of position just yet. In the peak with PZ, it will result in the 1-for-1. Malta is there, though, to make it look a little better for Vertex. And with that time now becoming a bit of a problem, they needed someone to step up. Valhalla will provide with a headshot. Bomb plant goes down. A winnable round now for both sides. Smoke is looking a little awkward for Vertex to play around. A nice angle for Nikias. Still hasn't spotted Brace, but eventually, as he creeps forward, gets a clean, crisp shot. And that puts it squarely in the favor of the T side now. Aftershock, they will win the round. Vertex is saving. First blood drawn by Aftershock in the second half there as well for themselves. Up to 7. So it didn't get too out of hand, but they are going to need to string a few together if they're going to make this competitive.
I mean, it's a good start, right? They not only pick up that first T-side round, but they kind of condition the CTs to play a certain way. Addict put nice pressure on stairs. Valhalla, good pressure in middle. Did kind of allow Vertex to kind of lean more into a mid and B heavy setup rather than playing 3A or anything like that, giving PC a lot of agency with that AWP. And then Aftershock just go for that regroup towards A and go for the A side exit and win that after plant. So already off to a good start on the T side. Vertex with a couple of guns saved over, though, put together a pretty nice looking buy. PZ still on the AWP, only one player on an MP9. Going to change up his angle of approach here. Knows that that mid pressure came in last round from Valhalla, so they want to try to find that mid lurker. In the meanwhile, Vexite gets up close in a ramp with the MP9. Spots that there's no one on the T side that's been able to get a close position. Again, Addict kind of defaulting towards their side, trying to apply that pressure and keep the CT rotations honest. Again, another slower round on the T side for Aftershock. Seems to be their style and their
Yeah.
approach. No matter what map they're playing, they really like to take their time.
I was going to say, we're getting a different vibe from this T side than what we got from Vertex, who were, you know, constantly trying to put a bit of pressure on early. They were walking their way up ramp really quite quickly in the rounds. But Aftershock are more than happy to take their time, you know, maybe see if Addict can do something in mid or over toward B. Valhalla's been given that role a couple of times as well.
Oh, Malta just ripping them apart on towards Scaffold side. Spam through yellow, doubles up after that. Backside has absolutely lost his marbles. Doing some zoomer peeks, jumps through the smoke with an MP9 and Dex Ricky, and that's sending a bit of a message. I believe Vexite would probably say something like, I just humbled an old man or something like that. Not gonna put words in his mouth.
Possible. $12 achieved for Vertex. Getting pretty close to forcing this through to a third. That was more or less the expectation when we were heading into Vertigo. But they might be a bit disappointed that it's going to have to go to 3. They would have liked to wrap this up in 2. Very similar to what they were able to do yesterday. No chance to do that anymore. But can still win that series. Can still make their way through to the grand final and book a ticket to a rematch against Encore.
We're seeing a much better game from Malta this game. Vertigo seems to be his map. He's very comfortable in his T and CT side roles. And set up in middle. Nicely timed HE as this mid take comes in. A lot of damage just from the util. Embrace swings into 2 that were completely blind. Softened up by Malta's util. And now this is the go signal for Aftershock to run into the B side. But there's already 2 CTs here.
Well, Addict is just going to have to take a few duels, and inevitably one's going to get the better of him. So, as we see is often the case, Ricky will be the last alive. It's not really going to result in too much. That's 13 for Vertex.
That was the buy as well, slapped away by Vertex. Now they're going to be up 14-7 if they can complete this anti-eco. With a clean economy to boot, that is a very commanding position that they can kind of close this game. And it is not really the flat-looking Vertex that you saw in that first map. They're getting themselves warmed up. They're getting themselves fired up.
Malta, the chance to farm up a bit of cash. It's going to go in the hands of Vexite initially, but he's traded back on down. Still, the utility advantage is making this round pretty easy for Vertex. Val's got himself an AK. What can he do with it? Nothing at all. PZ sharp as ever. And even sort of talking about damage here is maybe not super relevant. Vertex have got a lot of rounds to play with. And I think at this point, Aftershock just needs to win some rounds.
Yeah. They had one good round on the T side. But very quickly responded by Vertex, who creeping up on the off angle behind the traffic cone. Trying to direct the flow of this round. Does pick up Malta, but still 3 alive here for Vertex, and both of these Ts without armor.
Faking the plant again is Hugh. He's really trying to draw something out from that CT side. Knows he's got the AK, knows he needs to be the one to make the difference here. Vertex will not be baited into it, though. And now PZ gets the opportunity to strike, and he will do so. No mistakes are made. Addict found out by Valiance. Vertex got up to 14. They're making this one look pretty clinical.
For sure. Aftershock. Plant will definitely help them out with their buy here. Might help out the AWP fund for Ricky. Hughes going to go down head armorless to drop him that AWP. Make sure he can have the util. If Ricky can be the difference maker with this AWP, it's been a pretty flat game from the majority of Aftershock, to be honest. Particularly on this T side. No one really getting very many multi-frags going.
Oh, Ricky AWP in hand, looking over the smoke. Hasn't seen anything just yet. Still not too late for Aftershock to make some inroads on this map, but if this one goes by the wayside, then I'm prepared to say it's done and dusted. Yu has got that opening frag, though. Brace is down over toward B. He does get traded back, though, on the ramp. So again, 4-on-4.
Yeah, definitely an opportunity for Aftershock here. Couple of players pressuring middle. Addict just applying that util pressure over towards stairs side, forcing out a response from the CTs and actually pulling a bit of a rotation. VERTEX leaning very heavily towards that B side of the map now.
Slow creep forward from Vexite. Always able to find the timings, and he's gotten it done again. Double kill onto Hugh and Addict. Valhalla is going to have to come up with something similar, maybe better, to win this round for Aftershock. Vexite is locked behind the sandbags, and unless Nikez is able to win that duel, he's not going to be able to retrieve the bomb. 30 seconds left here for Aftershock. They need to move faster. Valhalla, he had the timing, but he's completely whiffed, and PZ whips out the pistol and makes it happen. Nikez now
on the flank.
Yeah, unfortunately not going to be able to get it done. That's 15 up. And we are most likely heading towards a third map now.
Yeah, looking like Inferno's on the cards. See what if Aftershock can, you know, claw back any rounds at the end of this game, maybe try to pick up a bit more confidence. I think most of this qualifier kind of go this way. It's felt like teams are backing each other out of the server every other map. A lot of 16-8, 16-7, 16-6 victories. No different in this map. Very quick one, straight up ramp, straight into the arms of Vexite. Addict's got him checked though.
Yeah.
Counter flash out from Malta.
Oh,
Trying to take back control.
Wasn't really expecting someone out of that smoke, but did manage to calibrate quickly enough. It is still the 3-on-3. It is still winnable for Aftershock, but Brace, relentless. It's flashed in by PZ, not that it'll matter. Aftershock are not going down without a fight. They got the wrap coming in through the ramp, I think, there, Valiants.
No real util for the T side here. Oh, yeah, very quick flank in from Valiants. He's just sending it up ramp side. PZ now pressing on that A side as well. Might not even be needed, though.
Yeah, it's just Ricky left alive. Hasn't really been the map for Aftershock, has it? PZ will put an end to it, and that is going to be that for map number 2, which means we're headed towards a third, and it kind of feels like this is a little bit more the series that we deserve between these two teams.
Yeah, two very clean maps, both teams winning their map pick, and we end up on Inferno, which VERTEX had a great game yesterday against Encore On, and it's not too bad of a map for Aftershock either. They've got a couple of reps on it, you know, a couple of months back. The core of this team did upset the best team in the region.